Hey guys, welcome back. I am in a room which you guys haven't seen before, which can only mean one thing. It is the dining room transformation. I can't wait to show you, but before I show you the after, let's take it back to what it looked like before. So when we purchased this property a year ago, it hadn't been touched in the last 30 to 40 years, and the whole property was really starting to show the signs of it, but in particular the dining room was, because it was the worst affected room by the nicotine. It absolutely stunk and it also felt really sticky. The walls were tinged in this orangey yellow colour, and we weren't sure if that was purely nicotine or the fact that they had painted it yellowy orange. Stay tuned to find out which it was. And there was also this gas fireplace that we wanted to replace for something a little bit more in keeping, and they had a lot of built-ins that were pretty bad quality that we just needed to get rid of. But let's get straight into day one, phase one, which is demolition. So after renovating for the past year, I've definitely learned that this deconstruct phase is one of my favorites. Getting in there, ripping everything out, making it feel a little bit like yours is such a satisfying feeling. I absolutely love getting the crowbar out. I started with the unit in the corner, and then also I had to tackle this floor, which was a cork floor. You guys might remember we also had it in the kitchen and the hallway out the back, and it's an absolute pain to get up. Really thankful for this big floor crowbar, which meant that I was able to do it on my own. And then I turned around the corner and started dealing with the rest of the bookcases. We originally thought that we might keep some of them, but they were in pretty bad quality, and we wanted to use this area as a dining room. The previous owners used it as a living room, so it gave them a lot more space to have bookshelves. I attacked these with a hammer and a crowbar, and I was actually really lucky that it didn't damage the wall behind. They had sealed up all of the screws. There was no way I was going to get it out any other way, and I didn't want to patch up the walls too much, so maybe this is just purely down to luck, but I was very thankful for it. I then also took out the other unit on the other side. This one was a little bit easier to get out. It's definitely a bit more rickety, and as soon as I started pulling this one out, it really started to open up the room, and it actually made it just seem a lot bigger and also brighter. So I've just had lunch, so it's about midday. I've got rid of all of the cupboards over here, still dark and miserable outside. That one has gone, and this one has gone here. I think this is probably going to be a bit of a disaster zone with patching up. The rest of the walls I'm going to paint over, but this one I think might need a little bit of work. A lot of wood to go, but I haven't been putting it in the skip very neatly, so I might wait for Ol to come home to do that. This floor is really sticky, you might be able to hear with my feet. Actually, I think some of the dust has gone down and it's made it a little bit better. Looking at the room now, I'm having to wait until Ollie gets home from work to move some of these heavier things for me, but I think I might try and attack the fireplace. This gas fireplace is actually the only heating that the room had. It didn't have any other radiators, and as we aren't yet renovating this room, we weren't going to install any radiators. So taking it out, we really wanted to think of something else that we could put in, and we ended up going for a bioethanol fire because we didn't want to have to worry about flue or getting the chimney swept, and it has worked so well as a temporary measure, and I was so glad to see this one go. Back in the dining room, it is dark. It's probably a bit too late to be smashing up stuff, but we've got to get on with jobs. And looky what we found. We have the same red tiles in here in the dining room, and we are hoping that we can keep these. It will save us a job. Ollie's actually doing this evening. Here he is in his little ear protectors. And yeah, so we've got our fingers crossed that we can get it out okay. So our plan is to take this whole fireplace out. That section there has come out, and we're hoping to take out this bit too. And I don't know, kind of neaten it off a little bit. And you know that this room is just kind of a temporary fix. So if we can keep these tiles and it looks neat and tidy, well, that'll be pretty good, won't it? It'll save a lot of time. And here she is. Oh, it looks so much better now. The plan is to just take out, obviously, all of this stuff, and then we're just going to roughly neaten it, and I might even just paint the inside. So guys, it's been a few weeks, and by a few weeks I mean 2 weeks. I had the family dog here, as you all know, and just didn't get around to doing this. This was his kind of exit to the garden, So we tried not to make too much mess in here or kind of disturb it, just kind of keep it okay for him to come through. And I feel like there's now a lot to do. Number one, Ollie's been using it as a dumping ground again. So actually, whilst the battery for this camera has been charging, I've been clearing it, and now I'm gonna start taking up the carpet, which I've wanted to do for so long. It's so dusty and terrible. I've still got some things to move. Case in point behind me, maybe able to hear it's super windy today and it's coming down the chimney. But I'm feeling re-motivated about this room because Ollie and I came in here last night and he said, the dreaded thing, I don't think this is going to be done before Christmas, Laura. And I was like, no, this will happen. So back in here today, and hopefully I will get cracking on to a point where I can paint. As you guys know, this is just a temporary room. We're going to redo this at some point, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. Oh, and let me show you. I partly did something and then Ollie finished it off, which I'm not sure if you can remember, but these two walls were looking pretty bad. They both had like the bubbly effect on them. They still obviously look a little bit crazy right now, so we've got to like do a temporary faux plaster job over them and just neaten up all of the bits that we have taken off. But they are looking much better. And I am absolutely praying that the floorboards go all the way through this floor, because you might see me having a little breakdown if they don't. I had to cut the carpet as we had objects in the room that I had to keep moving around to get rid of it. And I slowly got it all up, and I was so glad to see floorboards underneath. They're not perfect, but they were absolutely fine. Sometimes I wish that you could smell on YouTube, and this is a day where I'm very glad that you can't. This carpet is holding a lot of dust, a lot of nicotine and mud, and all of our kind of traipsing of renovation residue all into it too. And this has been the one carpet since we've moved in that I really wanted to get rid of. Today, just finally going out the door, and I'm so glad. And then I made sure that any evidence of there being carpet in there was taken away. I also ripped up the tape on the side so that it was all ready to be cleaned for painting. Now, if I thought that it was smelly in there with the carpet, this is probably going to be a new level. So we use this stuff to get off all of the nicotine. It's like industrial cleaning and grease remover. It's very strong. You definitely need to use gloves, and we do it with a little spray bottle. My gosh, this stuff is kind of insane. We did this in the living room and it showed up in there quite a bit, but the dining room is where most of the nicotine is. So, sorry, can you hear me with me rustling around? It's probably going to be a lot more than I expect, but I'm interested to see, because we've been wondering whether the walls in there were painted with an orange tone or whether that is just solely nicotine, and we might be able to find out once I've popped some of this on. I reckon I'm going to start on this wall here. I may do a little bit of the ceiling too, and just so that you know, I'm going to clean it and then I might sand a little bit and then I will clean it again. But let's just have one last look at this room, because if it is nicotine, I think this could make history. It's the shine too. The ceiling rose is probably the worst affected. Then it seems to get better to the edges. This is where I'm wondering whether it's not nicotine, but as you can see where the pictures are up, it actually looks quite white underneath. And I'm thinking that it used to be white in here. You can also see that there's like a weird patch over there that's particularly bad. And the reason that I think that it was white is because oh, you can't particularly see it anymore, but there were patches over here that were very white. Yeah, so anyway, let's see what this stuff does. I don't think you can probably see the full effect of it over there, but here it all comes. So we're dripping down to the skirting board there. Yeah, I think a lot of it is nicotine. And it looks like we were right. Just look how that ceiling is coming up. I can't believe how much has come off the ceiling. I'm feeling a little bit more confident now that I can get the ceiling back to white, because it is coming off Just, I mean, that's insane. So insane though that I am popping this mask on because I feel like this will be, well, the equivalent of me smoking a cigarette every day for the rest of my life, cleaning this up. And I certainly don't want that. So yeah, mask on for the rest of this job. Yeah, that ceiling is literally covered in nicotine. It's coming off white just by me cleaning it off with a cleaning fluid and a wipe. Cannot believe it, still a little bit speechless. All I can think is that it's actually wallpapered the ceiling, so it must have been quite porous and it came off semi-easily. I'm just about halfway and I'm staying over by the window because it is pretty pongy in here. I cannot believe how the ceiling is coming out. I can't do that little patch there because I currently have no flooring over there. But wow, it feels so good though. I feel like with the window open, it's getting cleaned and it's going to be fresh, and I don't know, for some reason this makes me feel like it will look beautiful again in here. And you can just about see on the ceiling rose as well, that's coming off quite a lot, but I want to be careful because obviously I have the light on. Didn't want to electrocute myself, but it is just, I mean, wowza. So the ceiling hopefully will be white at least by the end of the day and not so bad to paint. The walls aren't coming off as much as I thought they were going to. I don't know whether that's just the case that the nicotine has taken a little bit better to the walls. You can kind of see it here dribbling down. Or if the walls are just a little bit cream themselves. I'm not sure, I'm skeptical. I think that they were probably white. But I don't think I'm gonna get those back to white. Anyway, at least it will be fresh to paint in here. Oh gosh, I can't wait to paint. And that is the colour that we're going for if I haven't already shown you. Oh wow. Let's hope 2020 is a little bit kinder to me. But I've had my mask on, which I absolutely needed. It smells like, I'm not sure any of you will know the smell, but it's damp nicotine and it's very weird. It's very fragrant in here. I can't believe how quickly today's gone. It's about 3:30. I am pretty pooped, must admit. I'm very tired, especially because I've had my arms above my head for most of the day. But I've got quite a lot done today, pretty much all of it. Let me turn you around. I just had it on manual focus, so if you couldn't see me at all, well, it might be quite a good thing anyway. But I'm not sure you can tell the difference in here through the camera. You know that I have finished off the ceiling. I've also wiped down all of these walls here. They're looking so much better, along with the skirting board. And let me tell you, that was quite a big job. It's still looking more discoloured than I thought it would. I haven't done these patches because they were, terrible that looks, but they were underneath cabinets, so they should be fine. And this evening I'm hoping, I ran most of like the stuff that was in this room upstairs, but I'm hoping Ollie may take some more of this stuff up so that I can get over here. I don't need to wipe down the walls here, but I do need to do this kind of like conservatory door section. I'm actually spray painting this with this stuff, which I hope is good. I got it off of Amazon and the review's really good. It's like a dark matte colour, and this room's going to be very dark. A little bit apprehensive about it, and then I need to take all of this off and also do that. But I'm thinking I may take a little break, because as what happens is Ollie comes home raring to go and I'm absolutely exhausted. We need to pop to somewhere, Wix or B&Q. I think Ollie needs something for the wall that he's building upstairs. I need some polyfill. We do have some, but I want some that's just in a pot that I can just scrape out and easily do. And I think I might even look at getting the stain blocking paint this evening. Here I'm just popping on the stain blocking paint. So I started on the coving, and then I also did the ceiling rose, which was pretty nasty. And then I went on to the walls and I just did one coat of this to make sure that the nicotine was totally gone. I don't think I've checked in for a little while. I've been cracking on with this dining room, and today Ollie is here helping me, so hopefully we really, I feel like, should be towards the end of it today. We have done, let me show you what we've done today. Ollie has been starting to patch up around by the fireplace. He's also done, if it will focus, these two walls here, which actually are looking so, maybe not this one still looks a little bit rough here. But yeah, he's patched up all of the bits in there. And we have coated all of the walls in white, which I know seems a little bit ridiculous. It seems we're going dark in this room, but this is a stain blocker, and I really did not want to be able to smell any more nicotine in this room. And to be honest, you can't, it is smelling really good right now. Obviously we still need to do these walls here, and then we did go and collect the paint today. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to go dark on the walls today. The ceiling is looking so good. I did 2 coats of the stain blocker on the coving and on the ceiling rows, and also on the ceiling, so that's just ready for a normal coat of white, and it is looking so white, which to be honest, I never believed that it would in this room. And I have just started, which is a little bit scary. So we've got this lean-to, which we're not gonna have. I'm not really into PVC at all. And we just tested, I've got this matte spray paint that I'm wanting to spray it in. This room is gonna go very dark. And it's gonna be like a little test for Ollie and I to see if we like it dark. But I'm just cleaning down all of the nicotine, and it's starting to run down now. Just to show you, that is how white it is coming up in contrast to this bit here, which I haven't yet done. Can't quite believe it. I feel like it's gonna feel so bright in here once we've cleaned both the windows inside and outside. Ollie wants to show you it.
Oh wait, I'll show you up there.
No, they can't see there.
That?
Yeah. It's kind of scary. Yeah, I know, it's so grim. I think that this just shows that with a little bit of elbow grease, everything could come up looking a lot nicer. I just used the same cleaning fluid on the windows as I did with the rest of the room and the ceiling, which I will link below, and it really brings it up beautifully. And then we went on to phase 4, which was taking it to the dark side. We were really excited to get painting in the color, and we chose a color called Squid Ink by Paint and Paper Libraries. I'll also leave some information on that below, but we got it mixed locally at our local brewers, and Ollie's just rolling it on here, and we were so excited to see what it was like. We've never painted with a dark room, so it was really interesting to see what we thought of it. And coverage wise, the dark paint did exactly what I wanted it to. It hid any stains beneath it. It was really the main and only reason that we decided to go dark, and it worked really well. We ended up just having to do 2 coats of the paint, which in one of our back rooms, I think we did about 8 to 9 coats. I also did the bookcase in the same color, and there were a number of reasons for this. Number 1, to save a bit of money. I wasn't having to buy different paint colors for different items in the room. And also it saved a lot of time because I wasn't having to marker anything out. I could just slap it on wherever I wanted. I've just painted the cabinet with a brush. I know it looks a little bit, patchy, but I will do it with a roller, and Ollie is now going to spray this. This turned out so much better than I was expecting, but what I will say is order a lot more cans of paint than you think. I ordered 2, and we ended up needing 4. I'm going to tackle these babies. So we managed to keep the majority of them when we took the monstrosity of the fireplace out. And I've actually just tested some of this tile adhesive and grout remover. It seems to be working fine, but I am using the scraper to just get off the piles of adhesive. We do really sadly have this hole here. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. Might just have to somehow try and color it in. I'm not sure, I'll have to look that up online. And obviously before they had this gap missing as well, because that just looks like it's adhesive. But I think generally, hopefully I can clean these up so they look good, because we don't want to spend any more pennies, and also don't want the work. And I just scraped and scrubbed these tiles for what felt like an absolute eternity, but I'm glad that I managed to polish them up a little bit and reuse them. I've got another cleaning job. I'm going to clean off this window. I'll show you up close. I'm not sure if this is going to make a terrible sound though to start with, but this is what we decided on. Instead of masking taping it all, literally just to scrape it off, and it comes off really cleanly and nicely. So
I need to do all of the windows and also up the top there. They need to be cleaned on the outside as well, but I'm not going to do that until it's daylight.
This method worked really well for us, but I don't know if I would advise it if they are your forever doors or windows that you're keeping. As we plan to renovate this and take out the doors at some stage, we weren't too concerned with it, but this was such a satisfying job, finally cleaning and scraping them all off. Today's tasks are to clean up this dining room. We're pretty much there now. I am with scraper in my hand and I'm going to finish off the top of the windows. I don't think I'll do the outside until Ollie's back because I don't know how safe it's going to be like clambering around up on the glass on my own. And then I just got a little bit more sanding to do. I want to move everything to the other side of the room. Oh, fireplace. I'm going to clean the inside of the fireplace. I think I'm just going to scrub it down with a wire brush. I was thinking about painting it in the same colour as the whole room, but I'm going to have a lot of the same colour, so I think I'll leave that, a few touch-up paint jobs, and then clean and start painting the floor. And now I'm starting on the floor, which I know isn't the most beautiful floor ever, and yes, ideal world, we'd have sorted them out and sanded them nicely, but it's just not worth it on this temporary room. So I'm just literally sat here with all of my tools, taking out anything that is sharp and pushing in any nails, and then I'm gonna clean it, and then I am gonna wood fill some areas. And then to be honest, once it's painted, I'm just gonna cover it with a rug. So what I'm using here, forgive not technical terms, is a hammer and a puncher so that I can punch in any nails that I come across that I can't take out. And then also I've got a little tool to take out any staples that I come across. Well, it definitely doesn't look very pretty with the filler in, but I've just filled in some of the worst parts. This end probably was definitely the worst. I filled in quite a few there. But I think I'm gonna have to call it quits. I'm only doing this half of the room because we've got the table and a load of stuff over on this side, so I'll do half and then move it all over. And this wood filler takes 2 hours to dry, I believe. Don't think that there's a lot that I can do in the meantime. I could touch up some of the paint in places. Oh, actually, that's just reminded me, I've seen it. I'm gonna wood fill these bits that Ollie popped on. And now I'm starting to paint the floor, so I'm just starting on the edges and also the corners with a paintbrush, and then I have our trusty roller. If I can give you one piece of advice, if you're going to be doing any painting, get yourself the biggest roller that you can find. It saves so much time. Ours is from Screwfix and I genuinely love it, so I rolled the rest of the floor with this one with a large extension pole. We are finally starting to put the room together, starting with the dining table. Just by fluke, this dining table fits perfectly in the corner of the room. We didn't even measure it and got it secondhand, so I have no idea how we managed to do that. Next step, we've got these 2 prints that we got from Cox & Cox. There's 2 of them, and we're thinking probably this wall where the dining table sits. And like anybody decorating, we couldn't decide where we wanted these pictures, which side we wanted them on, how high, how far together. Thankfully, my mum was here this day, so she could help us make the decision. And then Mum helped me roll out the rug. We actually picked this one up from IKEA. I believe it's 200 by 300 in size. So a really good size, and it was only £80, so an absolute steal. You may have seen yesterday that we picked up quite a few things, including this big mirror. I'm not sure that I showed you guys that we also picked up a mantelpiece. I was originally just going to go for something really plain like this, but if you can see, it used to have a mantle on it, and because this is only temporary and we didn't even get the walls skimmed, it was looking a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit too rustic for my liking. So I picked up a mantle and it was only £20, so if I end up not using it, I can probably sell it on. This isn't all of it, but I'm just going to paint it white so that hopefully I can get it onto the fireplace. And I used the paint that we already had for this one. You guys might remember that I used Wimborne White by Farrow & Ball in the living room on all of the woodwork. So I just thought it would go perfectly for this mantle. And once it was painted, we put it together because it actually came in pieces. And then we needed to get it in the right position on the wall. And we went back and forth a little bit trying to decide where it should be. Then we got the tape measure and measured it to just doubly make sure. And then we screwed it into place. And I think it looks like it should have always been there. Also at the same time, Ollie popped up our light fixture.
Ali's now, oh, it looks so dusty in there, just putting some soundproofing up into the chimney, hopefully to stop any wind sounds coming down. Obviously we're going to board it up also. He's already put some wood in there. It's pretty filthy, isn't it? Okay. Yay! And we've cleaned it. Oh, you can see the wood there now. So hopefully that'll keep it a little bit warmer and also less noisy in here.
Right. That's the wood.
Right behind you. Once Ollie had finished with the fireplace, he started putting on the faux flue, which I think is so realistic. So this is our bioethanol fire, and it looks exactly like a log burner, and they even come with these flues that you can put in to make it look even more realistic. And then last but not least, Ollie hung the mirror. This was quite a nerve-wracking time because we weren't quite sure. It's a really heavy gilt mirror and we didn't know how to put it up. So we've got this huge bolt in the wall that's absolutely massive, and so far, so good. And I think it's about time that we have a look back at what it looked like before and what it's looking like now. I thought I would do a quick walkthrough. So this is the room as you open the door from the hallway. This is probably one of my favorite views right now. I love walking the house and seeing it in here. So we kept the wood floor running through from the hallway, but we painted this floor because we didn't sand in here and I was really worried about how it would turn out, but it has done such an amazing job. This paint was really good, and the paint color on the walls is called Squid Ink, and I will leave it below, and we matched it to a RAL color for the flooring, and I think it worked perfectly because, as you guys know, this room was supposed to be a really quick makeover, and I didn't want to have to worry about taping the skirting board or the flooring and worrying about where I was painting, so it made it really super quick to do one color and I didn't have to worry about it. Apart from, of course, the ceiling, which we did white, and the coving, and I do think that really brightens the room. So as you come in, you can probably tell that we haven't yet filled these. There are still some jobs that we need to do in the room. So these are the IKEA River 50 by 50 prints. We've hit them in black, and I love how they look there when they're kind of grouped together. I think we're going to do some really nice family photos, probably in black and white. And then as you turn the corner here, you'll see this little chest of drawers. This I didn't actually purposely pick up for the house, but I saw it on a secondhand website and I just thought it's really beautiful. I'm gonna pick it up and we'll pop it here for now. And as we kind of build furniture with the house, we might swap it out or change it. It was originally in this stripe and dark, which you can see I've left on the side. I didn't have time to sand it all down. And to be honest, I've got to kind of wait for spring because I want to do it outside. And I was doing it outside in the rain, which was not ideal. But I started sanding it and then I thought maybe I will keep it light. I quite like the light color. Originally I was going to do a dark stain again, but without the stripe. So let me know in the comments below what you think would look good, whether it would be better in this kind of dark stain or should I keep working on it and try and get it light. And then on top, I've just popped some hydrangeas with berries, faux, but I love how they bring a little bit of light in. And then a light lampshade, which just looks beautiful. It kind of like lights up this corner. And then I picked up this one from HomeSense a while ago. It's been in our previous houses. And I think that just makes a little something in that corner. Though originally I was hoping to get kind of a French glass unit so that I could put cutlery and perhaps crockery for the dining room. So if I do find something that will fit perfectly there, I might swap this one out. And then moving across, we have the fireplace. So we weren't originally going to put a mantle on here, which you may have been able to tell from the video, but I just wasn't loving it without mantle. So again, we picked this one up secondhand. It's almost £20. I painted it white. We opened up the fireplace and kept the brick, and it just looks so good. And then we've got the bioethanol fire, which is amazing. We don't actually have, unfortunately, we don't have heating in this room. So it's something that I was quite concerned about. Their original gas fire was the only heating that they had, and this gives off a surprising amount of heat And obviously the ease of it was just amazing, being able to pretty much just pop it in and we can light it up whenever we want. I'm lighting it in the moment when we have people around, and it just gives the most beautiful effect, especially in a grey, dark January day. Above was another second-hand piece. This mirror we picked up on Facebook Marketplace. It is huge. I'm not sure if you can quite tell the scale, and it's got the most stunning detail all over it. It's a real statement piece. It was quite an effort to get that on the wall. And for the first day that it was up, we were worried that it may fall down, but I'm sure that's a mirror that we're gonna have for years to come. And then we did keep this bookcase over here, which I'm so glad of, because I just feel like it adds quite a lot to the room. Although it's not yet styled, this is literally bits that we picked out of boxes that we have been storing upstairs. I picked up those jelly molds recently when we did some antique shopping, and then we've got a picture of Ollie's mum and dad. I want to get a really nice picture of Ollie's mum to go in here. This one I think I picked up from West Elm. We've got a few silver pieces there, and then just some photos, a game, some more photos, and then frames and a candle down there. And I can't wait to style this one up a little bit more. I'm thinking that I may do some baskets down here so that I can like get a little bit more storage, because I do want to kind of use these usefully, so hopefully get some games on them and bits like that that are relevant for a dining room. And turning around to this section, this is the section that probably we still need to change the most. Ignore the terrible alleyway. That is a job that we are coming to do in the spring, so do make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on that one. I just about managed to scrape off some of the dirt from above, but I was doing it on my own, so I'm really sorry that that's not more beautifully cleaned, but I wanted to get this up for you guys. Brings in so much more light though, and I think in the future we're going to put some gorgeous fairy lights down the alleyway to kind of make it all twinkly, and of course a lot of greenery. I don't think it quite does it justice at the moment with the spray paint, but it was amazing. I would certainly recommend. I love this dark color. I think it makes it look a lot more modern, and also just generally clean, because it was terribly dirty. We still need to change the handle here though. Unfortunately, we didn't get around to that. You guys know we changed the handles in our back room on the PVC windows, and it worked really, really well. Then I thought I would come back here to explain this area a little bit more. Obviously, we just got that little bench over there right now with an orchid on, but we're actually thinking of, this is why we've pushed the dining room table to this side. We'd love to get some seating area in here, so some like white linen chairs, maybe a nice armchair here, and maybe we could have a love seat over there, perhaps even with a TV on the other side. I'm thinking it could be lovely in the summer because that door really opens up, and then you could sit and look out on the garden. And then moving around to this part of the room, we have our Cox & Cox prints up there, which I think just fit perfectly with the style. And then our dining table, which is like the main part of this room. We actually picked this one up secondhand. It's so beautiful. It's solid teak. And I had what is it, on eBay? They're like reminder things to let you know when things come up. And I had been looking for a table to go in our garden that was teak. So maybe one day we might stain this one and put it in our garden. But for now, I think it looks really beautiful in here. And we've sanded that down, but we actually haven't stained it yet. So that's why I have this over it, because I'm just showing you guys how we actually are living in here right now. And I don't want to get anything on the table, so I'm keeping this on here. We were very kindly given these from my brother and his girlfriend for Christmas from Neptune with the candles in, and then that's a White Company vase with some pussy willow in. And the tablecloth itself is from H&M, and the chairs we picked up secondhand probably about 4 years ago now when we moved into our first place. We've actually got 6 of them, so we will move the 6 down here so that we can seat 6 people. We were actually quite lucky in this room to still have the ceiling rose. I think that's so beautiful, and the light we got from HomeSense. We're actually putting in a few of these kind of lantern lights in the house when we start renovating from the upstairs down, so I thought that would tie in quite nicely. And that is a pretty good overview of our dining room. We are loving it. We love having somewhere to be able to come and sit and eat, and I'm also working here during the day because it's kind of the only space I have where I can sit down and work, and it's amazing to be able to have finally friends and family over to enjoy the house. Let me know if you liked it by giving it a thumbs up, and do subscribe if you are new, because we have so many house transformations going on at the moment, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.